So my name is Gillian Pandor. I work for Rochester Institute of Technology, Dubai, as the chair of the Liberal Arts Department. And within our department, we cover everything from anthropology to sociology to psychology to women's studies, writing. In speaking on behalf of myself and my colleagues, we have from the lowest level of integration, which is purely different uses of multimedia within the classroom to make sure we're kind of teaching to different learning styles, all the way through to engaging different experts globally in our classrooms from different fields. So for example, in psychology, we bring in a lot of psychologists from all different areas that are located all across the globe to come in as guest speakers via Zoom, which has been an amazing opportunity for our students.
So my name is Karam Fayyad, and I have been a lecturer of mathematics at New York University, Abu Dhabi since 2020. I say this very carefully because I believe that technology should not define or dictate our teaching strategies, but rather the other way around. We can actually use technology to enhance our teaching methodologies and the students' learning experience. A simple and highly effective example is that all my lectures are delivered on a tablet's whiteboard and are shared with the students in almost real time. Of course, in addition to providing more structured and learning-friendly lecture slides to the students, one of the key advantages of this is that it allows the very easy incorporation of figures and graphs in my lecture slides. For example, during any lecture and within a few seconds, I can jump from my whiteboard to a graphing calculator, sketch the graph of a function that, for example, would allow students to better understand some concepts or some computations, take a quick screenshot of the graph, and then add it to the lecture slides for the students' reference.
So my name is Ahmed Matar, and I'm an associate professor at the University of Bahrain in the Department of Mathematics. So, I mean, I'm a very big fan from the early days of me teaching in the US. I've been a big fan of incorporating technology into teaching. And I love the online homework systems that have now, everybody's using. And in particular, the ones that Cengage has, the WebAssign one that has a lot of really good features. As I teach a specific topic, I always assign online homework that goes along with that topic. A lot of my students, especially the weak ones, they're telling me that these features that help them kind of, or at least shows them the general steps as to how to solve things, it helps a whole lot. So in some sense, I kind of see it as like a tutor.
We actually have AI tools in languages that generate speakings so that students can listen to different accents and listen to different types of dialogues. We use things like Flipgrid, Grammarly for getting students involved in creating videos they can share with each other, checking writing work, and other kind of quiz tools in the classroom. So like Kahoots and things like this, where we ask a question, get immediate feedback, and it becomes a little bit more engaging.
My name is Cristian Inaci. I'm associate professor at the Department of Mathematics and Statistics at the American University of Sharjah. I used a lot WebAssign, Coniero, and so on during COVID. And I started to build by myself, creating variables, creating conditions. Especially during COVID, this saved our life because there was no way to build exams online for a lot of students where every single student received the same kind of questions, but in a different order and with different variables.
So I'm Dania Zantourt. I'm a lecturer and coordinator at New York University, Abu Dhabi. I did my PhD in mathematics, so I'm a mathematician in training. I'm very motivated by inclusive learning. I really want to include everybody in the learning process. And I think mostly about those students that I want to move them from reluctance to engagement. And so I kind of cater my strategies most of the time for this. And we are in an era, of course, that lecturing has been a cornerstone of education in general. It's great, but we are in an era where we have to now complement it always with technology to kind of bring more engagement, so it's a fusion of both. I appreciate lecturing a lot, but I've learned that's not the world anymore. Purely lecturing is not gonna work, although it's great, but we know we are in different generation. We have to adapt to our contextual, students and era. And so using technology just for the sake of technology, we have to be careful about this, but blending it, carefully and thoughtfully to our learning objectives and our teaching goals, this is what makes a difference. In my pursuit, again, of inclusive learning, I did embrace video pedagogy in my teaching, and that video pedagogy has shown a lot of fruitful results. In students love them, and so what they love is they have access to my teaching anytime, anywhere. They love the fact that anytime they need support, they have me, in a sense. And these are videos that I created that are custom made by myself, where I control the learning to match the learning objectives and what I want my students to actually work on.
The advantage for them is that they can practice. So I always build training set of exercises. I build weekly training set of exercises and homeworks. There are always videos explaining the solution. So for them, it sounds a little bit impolite to say that it is also a plus for me, because I don't want to get rid of students coming to my office, but they feel comfortable to stay at home and learn alone and enjoy the videos, and based on the explanation from the class, they can try by themselves, and then they can watch the video eventually to check if they solve it well. So this is amazing, and it is a big plus for the learning. And all of them at the end of the semester, when I have the teaching evaluation, I have very positive comment on that. So
I think the benefits of technology in the classroom tend to be the variation that it allows in the class, not only just taking the pressure off of the instructor in terms of you can bring in guest speakers and have other experts in the class, but also just changing the dynamic of what you're doing in that time and mixing up the types of activities. This really helps students to stay engaged.
It's about creating community in my environment. So we, now I tell them all the time, when we are in a course, we're not just in the classroom in that course. We're not in that limited space. Our course is a journey. We're together in that space, whether we're in the classroom, whether we are, in the office hours, outside, or in the asynchronous part in the learning management system and the online homework platform. So there's a lot, of creativity that can be done with technology. And again, it's not just the technology here that we're talking about, it's the fusion and the blend between what you want to do, what you want to achieve in the classroom, and how you use that technology to help you with that.
My use of technology helps students build a personalized learning experience, but also the online platforms for electronic assignments help actually shape my office hours, because they provide question materials for the students, so that the students are more encouraged to attend office hours, which in my view can be an essential component of a student's learning experience and habits. Well, for both students and instructors, these platforms are sort of a diagnostic tool, if you will. And of course, for instructors, one of the main benefits of such platforms is that they are the least time-consuming tools to provide formative assessments and extra practice material for the students.
The other helpful kind of aspect of technology is the immediate feedback. So it's great for us because it kind of cuts down that marking time when it's those closed response questions or those very quick quizzes, things like that. And it's also helpful for the student because they don't have to wait for us to mark.
The fact that these online homework systems give immediate feedback to the students as to whether they did it right or wrong is fantastic. There's certain topics where these like online homework questions are specifically beneficial, because some of the topics that, for example, in a calculus class, when you have graphing and derivatives and second derivatives and how they impact the behavioral functions, that's a topic that so a lot of students struggle with. But the homework questions in WebAssign are designed in a very good way to guide students to solve these questions. So they're kind of they break it up into steps and stuff like that.
Because we have, across the department, we do have several courses that use Cengage material, courses that have MindTap integration, and they're able to use that as a resource, not only for homework, but also for in-class activities. And actually my course is one of those courses. And I do always get feedback that there are very interesting articles, useful texts, and clear exercises, and that the layout is very user-friendly. But I think from a student standpoint, one thing that's really stood out is accessibility. For students, they don't have to worry about having something at a particular place. They can access it from their phone, from their iPad, from whatever. And that for us means better results in terms of students actually completing the assignments. And then also from our faculty, we've always gotten a lot of positive feedback in terms of the teacher resources. So it's been a starting point. Obviously, we always kind of adapt and we make things relevant to our context, but it's a starting point that many times you don't have. So, I mean, that's the feedback that we've gotten from Cengage.
What areas and what content they haven't, let's say, where's there's inactivity, where they struggle more, let's say, in the homework platforms, such as WebAssign or others. I see where they're taking more time in working on a subject, and I indirectly infiltrate that in my teaching the next day. So when they hear that actually their struggles has been addressed, you see them, they relate to the learning, they feel like the enthusiasm coming in. I'm like, this is what I wanted to hear, or this is what I wanted to address, but I didn't know how to express my question, and my professor was able to figure it out. So you feel like, there's a happiness or there's satisfaction in the air, kind of.
I don't oblige students. What is a surprise is that I don't oblige them, because now probably they have to pay, but all of them follow me. I try to make them understand that this will be a plus and they will benefit. And usually all of them, they buy the access code and they use the platform. As I always say in the class, we are not there to punish them. We are there to make them learn and to enjoy the learning. But you need to have confidence, and they feel more confident when they have something, not only the explanation in class, because in class you have 1 hour, but they can stay at home. I even told them, buy popcorn, meet together, forget about Netflix, cinema, now you have WebAssign.
Actually, something I would like to share is that using technology is not necessarily about reinventing the wheel, but rather about making small and gradual changes that would improve the overall teaching and learning experience. My tip would be just to be encouraged to test new ideas and view the classroom sometimes as a lab.
Anything that sparks their interest. And I do this, again, coming back on the concept of communication, I'm always trying to find ways to communicate with them beyond the classroom. So one way, for example, is through Google Form, to kind of understand, what are their hobbies, what do they care about, why they're taking this class, for example, what are they interested in, what do they like to do other than just, being, an university. And I kind of use those, input to kind of bring up examples in the classroom that they care about. And that's when they love that part so much, when you relate to what they actually care about.
But in terms of faculty members, they're learning from each other. This for us has been really key. And we have a really good relationship with our sister campuses. And one of the things that's been amazing is because we share, to a certain extent, common curriculum, we're able to then say, hey, in this course, we use these tools, and this was the way our syllabus looked, and these are the types of activities we did. What are you doing? And we're not just doing that with the aim of sharing, innovative ideas and all of this, but we're also going to be talking about a lot of the challenges that technology presents, like academic integrity and generative AI and what that means. So I think sharing is the key, in addition to basically trying to stay ahead of the curve and continuing to learn. And when that learning can be from each other, then you're even more efficient.